Good evening. I'm Pam Huff, and this indeed is ABC 3340's Your Voice, Your Vote coverage of Alabama's primary election. We want to get straight to the latest numbers that we have in Alabama's governor's race. When we just look at what we have seen thus far between Kay Ivey and Tommy Battle, any predictions? Are we headed for a runoff yet, or is it too soon to call? And right now, you are looking at what is left of a bus wreck in Winston County. It happened this afternoon, and this wreck involved 26 pediatric residents from UAB. Breaking news dominating this afternoon. We are on top of a story that one never wants to report, but we have had 2 students shot this afternoon at Huffman High School in Birmingham. This is the question, obviously, that has to be answered, is how did that gun get onto that campus? There are metal detectors, there are checks each and every day, and yet for some way that gun made its way inside Huffman High School. At Huffman High School, we had 2 students shot this afternoon in what police are calling an accidental shooting, one at least with life-threatening injuries. But now in Tuscaloosa, a 12-year-old girl had a gun in a middle school. It is very difficult to get to where we are right now. As you might imagine, people are being stopped and traffic is along the way. James will be with us momentarily. You mentioned now that this has been ruled to be an EF3 tornado, winds 135 miles per hour. Take a look behind me right here. We are behind actually Merrill Hall, which was the Commerce Department here at JSU, and practically gone. I talked with a professor this afternoon. He said there's no roof on my office right now. It's open to the sky. The only thing he was able to go inside and get out was a picture of his granddaughter. He said all of his research is gone. And of course, that's what so many students are going to come back here to find. But the blessing in all of this is that this campus, which right now is shut down, this campus is on spring break. And so all of the students, practically all of the students, were off campus. And that was so important when you saw the devastation, the damage that was done to a number of apartment complexes that are on or near this campus that are all but destroyed. We have an alum from JSU who works with us. She is just in shock at the damage that is done here. Lauren, as you're talking to the students who are here now, what are they saying about rebuilding, about coming back, about staying here at this school? Stephen Quinn has been talking about this community spirit, about the community helping each other right now. And Stephen joins us from a church here that everybody knew. It was a landmark, the West Point Baptist Church, and its sanctuary and much else of that church is gone right now. Stephen, though, community is still very much alive here. We're going to smile through this because we want to tell you that the beauty of what has happened is that no one died in this storm. We also are very happy that there have been so many volunteers who want to help in this, but for right now, Aaliyah and the Calhoun County Commission have decided no volunteers are needed until Friday morning. We want to tell you that if you have some time, you want to help this weekend, they need you. Go to the Calhoun County EMA website. You can sign up there for this weekend. But there's a lot to be done here, a lot of work, and I'm joined right now by our Alabama Chief Meteorologist, James Spann. James, as bad as it looks here on the campus at JSU, this isn't the extent of what happened last night. Right. It is transformational for the state of Alabama, Chris. You are absolutely correct. This project has a name that probably summarizes that. It's called Project New World. And in fact, Secretary of Commerce Greg Canfield, who's going to join us live here in just a moment, sort of likened this way. I thought it was a great description. He said, in the economic world, a deal like this is like, winning a national football championship. Everybody in the room applauded, everybody laughed. They knew exactly what he was talking about. It is indeed a game changer, and it's a game changer for many reasons. You're talking about 4,000 jobs, the average salary $50,000 per person. Add all of that together, and the estimate right now is $5.2 billion in payroll over the next 20 years. Now imagine that. Also, of course, in this state right now, this takes us over 60,000 people who work in the automotive industry at the plants in this state, and that's not talking about the people who are in the supply business here in the state of Alabama. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. This project was put together in an amazingly short amount of time, 5 months. This started in August when Alabama realized it was indeed on the short list, that it could possibly win this plant, which now, as you just said, Alabama wins. We have it. My colleague Lauren Walsh, as you mentioned a moment ago, is here with me. Lauren, when they finally settled on the site, which is in Limestone County, the interesting part of this today is that that site was described as plug and play. They are ready to go. Lead me right into an interview right now. We are very pleased to have with us the Secretary of Commerce, Greg Canfield. Welcome and congratulations, first of all. This is a really big deal. When we are looking at incentives, we look back at what we paid Mercedes and Honda and Hyundai. And now what are we going to put out as an incentive for Toyota Mazda, and is it fair to the state of Alabama? That is a lot less than that number, though, that we've been hearing of $1 billion in incentives. Was that ever even on the table? Secretary,
thank you.
We thank you very much for joining us tonight.
It's great to see
congratulations.
you. Great day in Alabama. Thank you.
We appreciate it, sir. Well, obviously that was great news for the state of Alabama, but specifically for the Huntsville area, for Limestone County. And as our team coverage continues right now, Stephen Quinn joins us live from what was a watch party this afternoon. Stephen, they are jumping up and down up there. You see, what was once just a big farm in Limestone County is going to be changing thousands of lives. Good jobs, good paying jobs are coming for thousands of people by the year 2021, when the Mazda Toyota plant actually gets online, producing some 300,000 cars each year. Doug Jones is giving himself one day to just sort of enjoy his new office before he walks into the chamber and gets down to work. ABC 3340's political reporter Lauren Walsh is in Washington, where, Lauren, you had an opportunity to sit down for a one-on-one interview with Senator Jones. He knows he is walking a tightrope. He was sent there by an extremely thin margin of voters who expect him to do what he promised, and that is to reach across the aisle and to learn to compromise to get the job done. Elizabeth, the hospital in the city of Demopolis is Brian Whitfield Hospital. We are assuming that that is where D.A. Griggers has been taken. We were hearing earlier reports that possibly the facial injury was coming from glass. What you're describing, him sitting in the car, that doesn't seem to be that far-fetched. That may indeed have been how he was injured this afternoon. This is the big question. A former state trooper. He is the one who was shot dead. He apparently the one carrying out this ambush. Have you heard from D.A. Michael Jackson any indication as to what might have triggered something like this? What was the row between these two people? The newest is now that the Florida Senate race, of course, that has incumbent Bill Nelson fighting desperately to hold on to his seat, that we believe Governor Rick Scott has the number of votes to win. Scott, you may recall, was in Washington yesterday saying, hey, I've moved in. Well, right now we have been told that particular race is headed for a hand recount. A hand recount. Every vote in that state has to be tallied now by a hand recount. Nelson and Scott were separated by a margin of 0.15 percentage points.
Wow.
So it's just amazing. I also understand that the agricultural commissioner race also is going to go by a hand recount. But of course, the big one that everybody is watching is that U.S. Senate seat. What you look at shaping up now, since there is no runoff for the governor spot, lieutenant governor and attorney. Right? Well, you know, it could have gone either way, but especially on the Democratic side to see that they were able to pull this out. The Maddox campaign was able to pull it out. So now, since they don't have to worry about July 17th and that runoff, here are two camps. You've got a conservative, you've got a person who calls himself a progressive. You've got a woman, you've got a man, you've got a 73-year-old, you've got a 43-year-old. You saw the energy that Walt Maddox produced there. You saw Kay Ivey come out and go, y'all, we did it. You know, that's a lot of excitement, but this is one day. They now have to run against each other from now until November. And where that will lead, will there be discussions, will there be debates? Who knows where this race can go. I bet you have heard of Where's Waldo. Well, this is Where is Span?
Can you find the real Span in this group here?
I couldn't be at the party yesterday, so I just decided that, you know, I know you so well. I know your actions, and if we can roll some of these other pictures. See, you do that a lot.
You got this. No,
yeah,
you've seen me way
then
too many times.
You do this. You think a lot.
I do.
And then you just sometimes go,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it.
But then, of course, we've got that
Yes.
one.
That's the one.